Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Flint. I've just flown in. And today we're back with more Dragon Age Origins. Last time we wrapped up things in Orzammar. Alright, let us go to camp. But, you know, since we're here, why not? Oh, and look, more friends. Because we're gonna make all the friends, right guys? Let's go say hi.
You know, I've heard about the Orlesian bards.
Who
Really?
hasn't? They are quite famous after all.
The stories I heard were a little racier. Had to do with how a bard assassinated her target. How they were lulled into
Ah, that's where Racy comes
If
in.
those stories were true, who would ever agree to entertain a bard in their court?
Oh,
Or
I don't know,
lesions.
there's a certain allure to danger, isn't there? And besides, you couldn't all be assassins, could you? I'd take my chances. If the stories were true, that is.
We had rules about that sort of thing. Strict rules.
Such as? You're not gonna tell me, are you?
Let's just say I had plenty of reasons to join the Chantry, shall we? And leave it at that.
Okay. Al, don't pick on Liliana. I'm pretty sure she can take you. Because unlike me, who would just go up and punch, she would probably find some sneaky way of dealing with you, and you two stop looking at each other. And Wayne, I agree with you. Shake your head no about all of this. Look, let's go hit those Balin fanatics. Come on. Let's go team bond. Shall we?
I shall be silent.
You shall. On guard. Sup. Yeah, let's deal with this instead.
Only Balin can move us forward. Attack!
Well, that's true, but he's also kind of a murderous bastard. Hello? Where did you come from?
Let's have at it!
It will be done.
Wynn? What are you doing? Ice. There we go. That was nice. That guy is down, so how about we kick him?
Watch out!
With lightning. Oh, he's down because he's dead. Never mind. I'm awake. You When you're not an arcane warrior, stop it. Get at range, get on your staff, and start wailing on them. And that guard is doing nothing. Like, Tuesday. I refuse. And now you're dead. I hope that was worth it, people.
Very well.
Ooh, free stuff. Yoink, yoink. Yoink. Yeah, good stuff for crafting. What else? Well, that was fun. Good job, team. See, now, isn't it much better that we're fighting now? Instead of, you know, wild accusations about other people's culture. Although, Liliana's technically Ferelden, but grew up in... Let's not think about culture that much now. Well, goodbye, my city. It's been fun being here, but... I gotta go. I got stuff to do. It's gonna be hard leaving this place, though. I was a princess.
Very well.
Let's see if we can trigger another dialogue.
Win?
Yes, Alistair?
My shirt has a hole in it.
Learned
I
so.
see. And?
Exactly.
Can you mend it when we get back to camp?
Can't you mend your own clothes? Why do I have to do it?
Exactly.
Sometimes I pick up too much fabric and it ends up all puckered and the entire garment hangs wrong afterward.
Well,
And
can't have that.
you're, you know, grandmotherly. Grandmothers do that sort of thing, don't they? Darning socks and whatnot. Don't want me to have to fight
Al?
Darkspawn in a shirt with a
Dangerous,
hole, do you?
dangerous
Might get
territory
bigger,
here.
I might catch cold.
Oh, all right. I'll mend
When?
your shirt the next time
No.
we set up camp.
Oh, and while you're at it, the elbows kind of need patching too.
Careful, young man, or puckered garments may be the least of your problems.
Exactly. Lightning. Ice spells. You've seen them. And your Templar training aside... Yeah, look away from me. Act like we're not having this conversation. Because we are. But... Important ally. Don't pull that crap. Learn to mend your own stuff. Sewing's not that hard.
As you say.
And practice makes perfect. And now, on to camp. Which will probably be where we rejoin things. Ah, camp. I've missed it. Hey, puppy. Aw, you're a good general. They're the best general. Yes, you is. I'll get some pets. Aw, who's my fierce killer? You is. And now we're in camp. You know, it's been a while and we just completed, Stan, do you mind you're in my camera? Shoo. And we just finished off of Orzammar. That's been a while since we came back to camp. And we're gonna read some Codexes. Because, as you see, we've gotten quite a few things. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's start off with creatures. Entry 3, Archdemon. I think I've actually read parts of this, so I will be skipping down to the newest entry. The false dragon gods of Tevinter Imperium lie buried deep within the earth, where they have been imprisoned since the Maker cast them down. No one knows what it is that drives the Darkspawn in their relentless search for the sleeping old gods. Perhaps it is instinct, as moths will fly into a torch flames. Perhaps there is some remnant of desire for the vengeance upon the ones who goaded the Magisters to assault heaven. Yeah, could be. Whatever the reason, when Darkspawn find one of these ancient dragons, it is immediately afflicted by the taint. That's not good, because, yeah, that's what we got now. It awakens twisted and corrupted, and leads the Darkspawn in a full-scale invasion of the land, a blight. Earthamil, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, was once the Tevinter god of beauty. Yeah, well, depending on what you're into, I guess it's not bad looking for a dragon. In ancient times, he was worshipped by musicians, artists, and poets. The Feast of Earthamel was the grandest celebration of the year, and an event that lasted a full 12 days. That sounds like a pretty kick-ass party, not gonna lie. Plays and entire symphonies were written in his honor. Now he is maddened, husk of his former self, filled with nothing but a desire to destroy all life. Yay! Good times, and we're gonna go fight that! We're gonna be okay. Maybe. No. Anyway, moving on. Bronto! Cute, charging rhinoceros animals. There's only two things a noble will step aside for. Paragons and an angry Brontos. Very true, Dwarven saying. This hulking beast was originally bred by the Dwarven Shapert as a beast of burden and food source, the rough equivalent of a surface oxen and cows. Oh, I actually had not considered that, but yeah, I can see it. Some versions of Bronto have been developed as Dwarven mounts. Oh, why could we not have a Dwarven battle mount of this? Guys, we're going back to Orzammar, we're getting a Bronto. Valued far more for their sure-footedness and stamina than for their speed. Also, you know, just your intimidation factor of one of those bearing down on you. Oh, it can have armor. Guys, we're going back to Orzammar. While present within Orzammar in large numbers, some Brontos still exist in packs within the deep roads. Aw, we could have had that as a random encounter. That would have been great. Having returned to a wild state after the fall of the Dwarven kingdoms, They require remarkable little substance, consuming organic material from water, fungus, and even rocks, hence the rock liquor appellation used by many dwarves to describe Bronto. I've never heard that. And exist in primarily dormant states until provoked. An angry, charging Bronto is considered to be a rather dangerous opponent. Yeah, it is. Which is why we'll get at distance and I will spell it to death before it gets to us. Anyway, from Brontos to broodmothers. It is well known that Darkspawn carry off those captured in their raids to underground lairs. Most assume that the prisoners are eaten, are somehow tainted and turned into Darkspawn themselves, though this could never account for the sheer numbers of the horde. Forays made by the Grey Wardens into the undergrounds have uncovered the answer. When exposed to the Darkspawn taint, men are driven mad and eventually die. Women, however, undergo great pain and gross mutation that causes most of them to perish. Those that survive, however, become the grotesque broodmothers. These giant, twisted behemoths birth many Darkspawn at a time. A single broodmother can create thousands of Darkspawn over the course of her lifetime. Each type of Darkspawn is born from a different broodmother. Human produce Hurlocks, dwarves produce Genlocks, elves give birth to Shrieks, and from the Canary are born the Ogres. Yeah, so if you're a girl and you get taken, kill yourself. Because if this is the future or tainted death, slowly slipping and becoming a ghoul, yeah, there's no happy ending for women in this scenario. Anyway, from broodmothers to dragons. Because that's even more cheery, right? I think we've already read Dragonlings from the Tower, so let's go to dragons proper. Female dragons take much longer to mature than their male counterparts. They too undergo a metamorphosis of sorts at adulthood, but while males lose the use of their forepaws, females actually grow a third set of limbs. Ow, that's like Pokemon evolution, sounds painful. Specifically to serve as wings. Aw, they have wings. They truly are females. That's a joke maybe only a certain percentage of viewers might get. Young females travel great distances looking for a suitable nesting site. Because of their nomadic habits, these are the dragons most frequently encountered by man. Aww. And from dragons to Shriek. Scholars call these tall, lean Darkspawn the Sharlock, though they are more popularly known as Shrieks, because the ear-splitting cries they emit in battle. Yeah, that is not fun. Especially because I'm on headset now. Many tales exist by soldiers of being unnerved by the sound of approaching shrieks, cloaked in darkness and never seen until the moment they strike. As horrors of the night, shrieks are renowned for their incredible speed and agility, as well as their stealth. True, and it's also what makes them a bastard to fight, although it's more the stealth than the other two. They are the assassins of the Darkspawn, penetrating the enemy lines by striking their targets using long, jagged blades attached to their forearms to rip their opponents to shreds in seconds. Oh, okay, it's an attachment. I actually thought it was just part of their arm. They have been known to employ poison, often drawn from their own blood, and have demonstrated cunning group tactics when attacking in numbers. And this is why Shrieks are my least favorite thing to fight of the Darkspawn. Because ogres, yeah, they can brute strength, but one plus my group means they're gonna die. Giant spiders. Yay! My favoriteest thing. Giant spiders tend to appear in old ruins and other places where the veil has become thin, because of the magical disturbances or a greater number of deaths. In such places, spirits and demons pass into the world of the living and attempt to take control over living beings, spiders among them. Ugh. All the more reason for me not to like spiders. Not all scholars accept this explanation for their presence of these beasts, however. Some claim that the thinning veil allows magic to leak from the Fade, tainting such creatures as these spiders to transform into larger and more potent creatures than they would have become naturally. While such spiders are known to possess powerful poisons, and the ability to fling their web at opponents in combat. Studies of them have been few, and the full range of their abilities are unknown. And we're scrolling. Corrupted spiders are giant arachnids that originally grew in the depths of the deep roads, feeding on numerous species of large bats. Well, they're at least taking the bats down, which ordinarily I'm not a fan of either. Although, why did we not get to see large bats in the deep road? That would have been another fun enemy for variation. When the deep roads were lost to the Darkspawn, they began to feed on the numerous skinlocks, and their numbers grew exponentially, as did their size. Huh. Actually, I wonder why we have not seen the tainted spiders, unless those are the corrupted ones we saw. The Darkspawn taint has become a permanent part of their system, passed on to their progeny. This has the effect of increasing their size abnormally, as well as their aggressiveness. Okay, it is the corrupted ones. Some corrupted spiders have made their lairs in the surface forest, but most remain underground, close to their blighted, tainted meals. Cheery! Yeah, I don't like spiders. Moving on. Nothing under items, nothing under magic. Go figure, nothing under magic for dwarves. Culture and history. Wow, actually surprised there's not a bit more for dwarven culture and history. Anyway. Stalat Naget. 913 Dragon. The blight is building, though it is years from being named by the surface. But the memories know the signs. The Legion has lost Bone Manor, though in truth it was lost to the living long ago. The Darkspawn are moving freely and have numbers even the memories haven't seen. They will surge, release. We will fortify and follow. That is the way, and we will always be so, until we fall and the surface wonders what has changed. From Chapter 49 of Stalat Naget, The Stone Unheld, by Commentary on a Roll of Years, by Shaper Erden. 7. Storm. The wars continue in the depths of the border tags are lost. Orsmore fortifies and holds, but the lost ground is not regained and remains dead space, where Darkspawn multiply. It was a surge, and the surface was not breached. There, no great archdemon behind them. No blight was declared, no rallying cry was given. The warden slumbered. Okay, yeah, we kind of should have been doing more stuff. After the centuries of consistent skirmishes, a trend becomes clear. The first line of defense, unacknowledged for centuries, weakened. From Chapter 40 of Stalat Naget, The Stone Unheld, Commentary Roll of Years by Shaper Erden. Okay, this is going the opposite direction of how it should be read. Oh. Yeah, that is something that really the warden should be more on top of, in between blights going down to the deep roads and helping the Legion of the Dead. I'm just saying this is our business, is fighting Darkspawn. Why not? Why are we not doing more? Oh well. 512 Exalted. The surface declares the fourth blight, a number that means nothing to the stone. In the depths, the events are inverted, our blight spanning the interim years. 7 generations of shifting lines and darkness. Our ancestors are the reason the surface kingdoms don't know a Darkspawn by sight, why even their eldest has never heard of an encounter firsthand. They believe the blights are defeated by a gathering of allies of singular focus. Eventually, they will be lost by attrition in the depths. The Darkspawn surges and releases. We fortify and follow, although doubts are raised. From Chapter 27 of that book. 310 Towers. They name it a blight, the third by their reckoning. It was just the fight to our ancestors, continued even though it shifts settings. The hordes that press their border surge and release, spilling across the surface. They fortify and follow. It was not their way to let the enemy rest. 325 Towers. The surface kingdoms declare victory. Wow, that's 15 years of fighting this. The horde is crushed and pushed halted, and celebrations begin as humans thank the skies and their maker. True. Beneath their gaze and their feet, the Darkspawn retreat to the steps of our tags. New front lines are drawn across old, they settle into breed, and the memories say, as happened twice before, and are likely in the darkness before that. From chapters 14 and 17 of that book. Yeah, the dwarves kinda get screwed over in that sense. It's not particularly fair to them. Well, that's sad. Let's go to characters. Let's see. Balin I. Dukin, my douchebag brother, who is not king. I'm so happy I could screw him over. Time is something you may not have much left of. The third king of Urien's children, Balin was always been considered the last and least of his family. Very true. Trien was the undisputed heir apparent from the moment of his birth, and Ulrica was not only the most accomplished, thank you, but also their father's clear favorite. Well, have you met my brothers? Of course I am. Balin's most notable trait was his ability to stay out of trouble. Debatable. He murdered Trien and framed Ulrica, eliminating both his rivals in one stroke. And this is why I say he's a douchebag. Well, actually, no, douchebags serve a purpose and are useful to women. He just screwed me over and left me with nothing. Well, besides exile. Good times. So happy he's not king. His efforts were for nothing, though. The assembly named Parl Haramont king of Orzammar, and the coup he tried to stage as revenge was cut down almost before it began. Yeah, you don't cross me, my friends. We're kinda badass. But speaking of Haramont, I know how to say his name, shush. Let's read about him, shall we? Lord Padel Haramont. No one is born with the rights to the throne. The sitting king may recommend a successor, but the assembly ultimately decides who will rule. Which is something I like about the dwarves. It's not just, well, you came out of the right vagina and had the right dick put it in there, so... yeah. House Haramont is one of the oldest noble houses, as old as Orzammar itself. Endrin's most trusted advisor, Haramont is well known for being an able administrator, and the author of the many compromises in the ever-warring assembly. Yeah, it sounds like a rather boring, thankless job he does. His promise to King Endrin to keep Balin off the throne was upheld by the intervention of the one paragon and the Grey Warden Ulrica. Hey, I would also like to be a paragon. I did some pretty awesome stuff. Haramont was named king by the assembly, ending internal strife in Orzammar. Yeah, that's what's gonna end the internal strife. No, it's just gonna continue, just in other ways. Anyway, on to my friends. Liliana! I don't know if we've read hers before. Is not that long, though. In the cloister, away from fuss and flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in the stillness, I could hear the Maker. A lay sister of the Chantry who can beat the stuffing out of the trained mercenaries would be notable enough. One who also claims to have sent to fight the Darkspawn by the Maker himself is... unusual, to say the least. I attract a lot of people. She joined Alistair and Ulrica in Lothering, insisting that she would prove useful, and she has, I think. There is more to Liliana than had ever been apparent in Lothering, however. She spent much of her life as a bard in her lay, a minstrel, assassin, and spy employed by the nobles of Varao in their elaborate game of intrigue. Yeah, but she's trying other career paths now. Her decision to join the Chantry was not merely the product of her disenchantment with the life of a bard. Liliana was framed by her bard master and fled to escape execution as a traitor. Yeah, it's called Liliana Song. It's on my channel. You should check it out. Liliana takes care to honor the Lothering cloister that took her in, and keep the symbols of Andraste's blessing close to her heart. How close? Anyway, moving on. Oghren. I'm not saying I should be your first pick for a dance partner at an inaugural ball, but in the deep roads, I'm your man. No, you're not. You are never my man. You. Do not want. Very happy you are not a romance option. I mean, you're clearly in grieving for your wife. How unfortunate. Anyway, Oghren of House Kondrat was once the promising member of the warrior caste. This house was not especially high-ranked, but many of its members, Ogren included, had won notable victories in the provings. Hey, I won victories in the provings! And were considered to be a rising prestige. When a Smith caste family with plenty of money but no political connections offered their daughter in marriage, his family accepted the match, and everything changed. Yeah, but not necessarily for the better. His wife, Bronca, was named a paragon for her achievements. All of House Condrat joined her newly made noble house, Bronca, and vanished with her into the deep roads. Yeah, the beginning of things going sinister. As time passed and it became more and more clear that Algren had been abandoned, he became the butt of jokes throughout Orzammar. He took to drink, which didn't especially help. Drunk and humiliated, he challenged another warrior to a proving over an insult and killed him. Jesus, man, no. The match was meant to be fought to first blood. As punishment, he was stripped of his house and barred from bearing arms. His arms aren't that bad. He can rock a tank top if he wants. The only fate worse for a warrior than exile. Actually, I would argue it's worse, but The Grey Warden Ulrika mounted a search for Bronca and found her, and the Anvil of the Void, for which she led the house to their deaths. Yeah, Bronca, not a nice lady. Ogren, you can do better. Sten. Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regrets. True, but some of us just have really lit lives. The northern islands are remote, lush jungles that harbor cities rumored to be the most extraordinary ever built. These are the lands of the Canary, lands that no foreign eyes have ever seen. Only the stories of the 3 exalted marches waged against the giants have reached the south, until the arrival of Sten. Yay! You're gonna tell me stories about your lands. Aw, just not, is he? The stoic giant in the cage was surely the strangest thing the people of Lothering had ever seen, until the blight struck. Yeah, but we got him out of there, just, not so much the people. Oops. we didn't know. He was sent with a small group of Canary soldiers to investigate the blight and report back. Outside Lothering, they were ambushed by Darkspawn. Oh yeah, right, your personal quest, we should get on that soon. They fought off attack, but only Sten survived. Farmers found him dying and took him in, but when he awoke alone and unarmed, he panicked, and killing the entire family. It was a touch overreacting. Realizing he'd sacrificed his honor, Sten waited for the villagers to come, and surrendered, expecting death. No. We're not quite as harsh as your people, Stud. Sten has an eye for paintings. In other words, clue as to what he likes for gifts. An appreciation might seem out of character. Not really. But is actually an extension of Canary discipline. He respects an artist for careful composition. Exactly. A skill that has as much about where the brushstroke stops as to where it begins. Yeah, which actually makes total sense why he'd like paintings. It's all skill. Win. It's perfectly all right to think about the many indignities you plan to inflict on your enemies. But to talk about it, well, that would be unladylike. Oh, Win. This is why you are made of Win. Win's talents became apparent early on, particularly her skills at healing magic. She was well liked by all her mentors. Well, who wouldn't like Win? She is awesome. And was recognized an exceptionally gifted student. Even the Templars who watched her could not deny that she represented the best the Circle had to offer. Aw, she's so cool. She was an intelligent young woman who possessed quiet confidence and maturity beyond her years. Yeah, side-eye to some of those Templars. She spent many years mentoring apprentices within the Circle, and her peers thought so highly of her that she was asked to be First Enchanter Irving's successor. Oh my god, that's so cool. But she refused. Oh. Saying that she had no desire to work in the upper echelons. Well, I can respect that, but how cool would that have been? When word reached the tower that King Kaelin's called arms, Wynn volunteered to go to Ostagar. For Wynn, the printed word is a window to the true understanding. A scholar by heart, She feels that what a people commit to the page is sacred by definition. Aw, she likes books, in other words. And thinking and stuff. Speaking of books, let's do books and songs next. Not that many, actually. 200, Keratin's Journal. 940, 45th day, 5th year of the reign of King Baltor. I have done it. The vision of the ancestors gave me has come to fruition. Today a man set up from my forge, a man living stone and steel. I called him Gollum, for the legend of those great statues animated by the dead. They are our future and our salvation. Ha ha ha! No. No, they are not. 940, 60th day, 5th year of the reign of King Baltor. It is a horrific process. Not every man can do such a thing and survive with his mind intact. Yeah, this is why, maybe this is not our future. I am honored that the ancestors believe I have the strength to bear this burden and forge Orzammar's defenders. Nothing so great may be achieved without sacrifice, nor may stone and steel walk without a spirit to animate them. Yeah, just, spirits are kinda going crazy. 940, 73rd day, 5th year of the reign of King Baltor. I have asked for volunteers. Some few answered, men of the warrior caste, younger sons with no property, no chance for marriage. They want to defend Orzammar from the horrors these humans have unleashed. Yeah, we kind of screwed that up. They want to live forever and have bodies stronger than the finest armor. They do not ask to speak with those who have gone before. Which maybe, they should have. Maybe that should have been part of the training process. Just saying. I put off saying this, even in these pages, but I must say it now. My golem will be powered by their deaths. Yeah, very bluntly put, but very true. These brave warriors come to me, naked as they were born. I dress them in a skin of armor, so large it makes the burliest look no more than a babe, the anvil of their first and final cradle. Yeah, these were people. Which we should go talk to Shale about that real soon. We are surrounded by a mile of earth on all sides. No one hears the screams as I pull our molten lyrium through the eye holes, the mouth, every joint and chink in the armor. They silence quickly, but the smell lingers, just a trace of blood and the greater stench of hot metal. I must work fast. The armor is malleable now, as I shape it with a hammer and tongs. It is not long before it moves beneath my hands, writhing and twisting with every blow. It speaks again now, a low moan. But I have learned to tune it out. I can afford no error in this craft. There could be no melted slag blinding the eyes, nor an unhewn bit of granite shackling the leg. They groan at my work, but they'd rather be broken crippled? Those I have spoken to tell me of the pain, but they could see themselves. They would see perfection. From the Journal of Keratin. Yeah, golems are impressive, but the making of them is kind of horrific. And I'm super glad we didn't end up giving that to Bronca because, yeah, no. I don't want to know what she would have turned that into. Notes on happier things. Let's see, what is there? Okay, here we go. Load limit reached. Mass will have an effect, he says. As long as it lifts us out, I figure. Should have specified within my lifetime. Gives us time to talk, he says. How's a dwarf get named Really? Shepherd? There's shepherds here? No, I don't want your stupid Mass Effect in my Dragon Age. Get it out. How's a dwarf get named Shepherd? Up your shaft. No, really, because blah blah blah. Axe's answer, but I still hear him. Drip ground, drip ground. Worse than his talking. Think I'll drop out for some air. Excerpt dwarven verse in 1 volume. Selection load limit reached. Anomalous scratched from the cage hoist eventually. Cool. Not people, everyone. Let's go Black Vials. 'Cause only good things happen when I touch them, right? I think we talked about the first and second Corpse Walker. No, we didn't, 'cause the second was in the palace, so never mind. I know what I'm talking about. Shush. Finding the second Corpse Walker. Cast from your host, may you find no purchase on mortal ground. Be gone by your true name, as we are sworn to do. Nethamas Begal, revenant and perversion of a fine daughter. No more will you test the veil, nor reach the fade to escape. Andraste hold you, demon, and bind your rage for eternity. 6 thumbprints in blood marked at the end of the text. So, if there's 6 and we fought 3, that means there's 3 more. Yay. Good times. Binding the 3rd corpse walker. This realm denies you, abomination, for taking our dearest. We are united against your kind, and bind you by your true name. Argoth Masad, revenant, and perversion of the a treasured mother. Oh. No more shall fall, no more shall need to stand. Andraste hold you, demon, and bind your rage eternity. Okay, interesting. And I wonder if by mother they mean revered mother or just someone's mommy. Because otherwise I have some questions to ask. Anyway, correspondence interrupted. Share your thoughts. I know I've read some of these, so I'm going to try to find what is new. Actually, there's not that many. I will just reread the whole thing. A collection of embarrassing personal communications between spoiled wealthy and the object of their obsessions. To Weather Lowstone. Age, race, height, I care not for the difference others perceive, but matching our helmet to my tunic for the amusement of standing in line with your new silent sisters, invited attention where none was desired. I will not suffer your company again. Allison Highover, scribbled below. Gonna miss knocking heads with those girls. Okay. A delicate matter. I am overjoyed at this prospect of having you, an unwelcome guest, requires to excuse yourself by the postern of my estate to avoid a mark upon my reputation. M. Really? What mark upon your reputation would you suffer? And how true would it be? Dear Sir John. Oh, it's a Dear John letter. Those aren't good. Your ministrations were, well-intentioned. Hold no promise. Do not despair, for it is not you, it is of me. Oh, Lord, this really is a Dear John letter. And kudos for them picking this title. I require an interval to acquaint myself with the personage you awakened. I am certain we can maintain an amiable accord, and that engagements with our mutual associations will not be awkward. Marie. Yeah, even then. Anyway, quest-related. Ooh, quite a few here. The Dead Cast. Friends, we have argued long, but I would propose a different direction. It is not unprecedented that one of our number should end up in the Legion of the Dead. The memories attest to some bewildering falls from grace. Only his choice to volunteer has propelled this beyond mere scandal. The question we must ask is, does this serve us? The Legion has always seemed a last hope for redemption. If a noble joins their number, by choice no less, this can only do good things for enrollment. And we sacrifice only one foolish member, the last of a troublesome house. His reforms are better shouted at the Darkspawn than in these halls, I say. Let him go. What now? This is the writ that was passed, Duris. I hope you can live with your decision, because you've lost it now. The Assembly minutes regarding Legion of the Dead, amendum unknown. Dearest Jilly, I know things have been difficult since the censure of our house, and I had hoped to bear the cost of my actions alone. But if I had full understanding of the consequences, I wouldn't have murdered above my caste in the first place. Oh, okay, that's why you were sent to the Legion. It wasn't so much you volunteered as you kind of had to. I did not abandon you lightly, but I knew of no other way to insulate you against my shame than by joining the Legion. Oh, yeah, she could have went with you. It is a half measure that has earned me no right to seek your comfort, but please, I beg you, for one moment of foolish optimism. There is talk of a new soldier, a noble. The things I have heard. Oh, okay, this is a different person than the noble that went free willingly. Okay, never mind. I will not curse them by voicing them aloud, but it may be a path to respectably for my kin, for you, if there remains any official line open for our name. Can you verify that is real, that House Herald is in good stead? A letter from Maius, unsent. Yeah, dwarven politics is scary. May this report find the proper eyes to afflict future tactics. We found an enclave of darkspawn. Possibly a breeding lair, but we could make no approach. There were far more spawn than anticipated, and I divided the squad to draw the main body off the horde away. I do not expect to survive, but I have made certain that most of my men will see another day. I am torn by this, as my petition will go unheard, and that may curse many more of the Legion than I would die here. But I simply cannot abandon the men I have looked in the eye and called brother. Perhaps they will not thank me for this, believing themselves already dead, but where there is life there is hope. I will not be the last to see their worth. From the Record Legion, the Dead Field Report by Lord Darius Farald. Casualty. Darius Farald, lieutenant, found dead with his squad. Oh, that's unfortunate. The corpse was left untouched, suggesting the Darkspawn feared his spirit even in death. His ferocity defending his men was corroborated by survivors before they succumbed to the corruption. It is rare for soldiers' actual death to exceed the honors given by his enlistment, but Farald was an odd one, an agitator. His eccentric promises were disruptive, and I fear his death may demoralize more of the Legion than I actually heard from his fantasies firsthand. He was committed to the stone with his insignia, as honorable a barrier as we can manage with the spawn at our heels. But officially he was formed second front. Better his foolish hopes are deluded by the time than killed outright. From a bi-weekly casualty report by Surgeon Unger. Oh, that's sad that he passed. By virtue of honored ancestry and a great deal of personal sacrifice on the part of its last descendant, the joining of House Herald and the Legion of the Dead is recognized as worthy by investigation by the memories. If the lineage proves intact and sufficient, relations of the Legion of the Dead may be acknowledged as minor nobility. Aw, something good came of it. Albeit with restrictions. No restrictions, full honors. This minor house will now undergo the general process of admittance to the memories. May honor come to its descendants, as recorded by the memories. Honestly think he deserved more. Anyway, moving on. The Crosscut Drifters. And actually feels like a lot of these from the Dwarven side should be under culture. But, Anyway. Crosscut Drifters. Fools and renegades, the lot of them. We accept that there is a time for order and education treasure hunting, but not when a foundation remains to be cut. What fortunes may they made? What house have they elevated? The minor veins they have traced have satisfied neither this assembly nor their gambler's thirst. Their actions can only grow more erratic and undisciplined, and while no incidents have been reported, they will eventually undermine the stability of the major passage. It is this opinion of this assembly that prospecting be restricted until we can be certain of the stability of the deep roads. These crosscut drifters can find their fortune in a trade. Let animals burrow wherever their noses points them. Dwarves are meant to be excavate to careful degrees. From an assembly memorandum. So in other words, maybe not cut into your foundations if you want your house to stand. Just saying, makes sense. But now from a counterpoint perspective, Rogan cut a beautiful line down a minor vein today, twisting his supports along the footwall like a backbone. He's got a gift for lagging, it's almost crystalline. I swear I could tap it and hear the stone sing. Non-standard by any inspector's measure. But that's the sodding point, isn't it? We're letting the stone take us where she wants, not gouging out highways so the palace can have another pantry. I suspect they will revoke my privileges at the next assembly sitting. I say good luck to them. They'll find us to deliver the writ. They are afraid of the road we travel. We're close to a major strike. The stone, she's pulling us to something, and to the vents if I'll let dwarves who deny their sense get in the way of it. From the Journal of Brunar. founding fellow Coscut Drifter. So something was pulling them there, but we don't quite know what. We can no longer tolerate your flagrant disregard. This assembly has published the excavation doctrine. The actions of your team have potentially compromised 2 future projects, resulting in expensive redesign of the deep roads. Fortunately, development as the larger shaft will continue, or you would have faced additional fines. Yep, fines. Clearly that's what they're concerned about. Claims that the stone is directing your actions suggest that not only are you ignorant of pre-planning procedures, you and your group may also be in the early stages of Illyrium poisoning. You are in breach of Orzammar mining code and hereby forfeit all claims made during your unapproved activities. The Assembly expects your response within 30 days, or your house as well as those of your team will face additional censure. Notice of Assembly censure. Here's your response. Take a long breath from a short shaft. B. But is it Grandmaster B? Oh, that's a very dated 90s reference. Adonym by Renor, founding fellow Crosscut Drifter. We found trouble, all right. Rogan's lyrium vein led right to the flank of a darkspawn horde. Oh, that's the song he was hearing. From the look of their kit, the spawn were weak. Maybe less from the breakthrough into the blasted newly highway underground. And they'd be well behind any patrols. The stone knew. She knew, and she drew her chosen with a promise of ore we could taste in our bones. If all goes well, losing this caravan will kill the darkspawn taste for digging, and Orzammar will never know it was at risk. Oh. We'll be a distant tremor, a ripple in the royal fountain. The charges were laid, we know it will work, and we know the cost. The stone has shown us the way home. Okay, they sacrificed themselves. For people who will probably never know it. From Journal Burner, founding fellow Crosscut Drifters. See, this should really be under culture history, not quest-related. The Ganju's Jade. The stone has a will that surrounds and directs. She guides even when we are willingly blind to her influence. But she is not pure. The stone bears a corruption as old as balance. For the dwarves to prosper, the gouge, the waste, the unstable rock must be cut away. But like the stone, the gouge also has an influence. Each of us must face this and must carve the worst of ourselves away. But the Legion of the Dead bears the unique responsibility. Only the fully adorned Legion can face the gouge, can cut into the darkness that afflicts the raw stone. She encircles us, and we must protect her. Here, where darkness meets light, a Legion of the Dead inscription, undated. Yeah, the Legion does good work. The Shaper's life. The blessing of the Shaper is given only to those who walk with the stone, but not with Elias. Shame. It is the path that cuts deep in the road. It is far from secure, but those who desire to work in the memory must first honor it. Document the stone, protect her, and present a new history to the memories. Only then will the blessing of the Shaper be upon you. From the Shaper's life. Yeah, it's a long, arduous process for this. They're not just librarians. Orzammar has carved a legacy from the stone. But history is more than the comings and goings that fill the streets. These caverns are old cuts and well-traveled. The true will of the stone is revealed far from the halls of politics and commerce. The Shaper must step away from the familiar and seek out revelations from the frontier or buried secrets from the paths abandoned. The Shaper must first walk away if he is to return, or she. First steps from a Shaper's life. So in other words, there's more to history than just, what's going on right here, right now. And sometimes things we think we know aren't correctly recorded or have been remembered wrong, or time has changed that perspective. Far from abandoned, the deep roads are patrolled by those who fight for Orzammar and the stone. These defenders that have great and tragic events unfold, but they are committed to the moment, not the memory. It is the Shaper's burden to walk this path with a mind to observation. He will fight if pressed, or she. Every dwarf owes at the stone, but his purpose is to record, not create. Although dark and deep, the old paths are alive with deeds. Only the dedication of the Shaper can ensure they are not lost to the memories. The old path from a Shaper's life. Before the Darkspawn, the stone held an empire dozen of tags, each carved in a shade of dwarven pride. Communities separated but united. They fell by degrees. Yeah, Our people falling to the darkspawn is kind of dark. Ruins crumbled into tombstones, a forgotten glory. But the stone is a living history, and absence can reveal more than constant security does. As the stone shifts, she chooses what remains buried, and what must see the light. The Shapers must return, must walk the lost way, so the children of the stone can see what has been surrounded by what can be gained. This is the sacrifice of the Shaper, the lost way from the Shaper's life. You have walked the path of the Shaper and documented the stone. The blessing of the Shaper is yours to wield in the carving of a new path, for tomorrow's Shaper to follow, from the Shaper's life. Yeah, there's a lot of history for our people to rediscover, as well as just a shift in perspective from what we can learn down in the deep roads. Maybe one day we'll actually be able to go see all of it in whole. Topsider's honor. Oh, right, we still have that quest to go knock out, but we'll do that at a later date. I have seen enough of the deep roads for quite a while. Plus, I have another quest line I want to do after this. The fool has been following us for 3 days, but what can I do? I'm sure the city guard could lock him up for being sodding idiot. Wait, you can lock people up for that? Why was Balin not locked up years ago? But there's no law that says you can't seek your death in the trenches. Hey, we had to get permission to go there. Why did this guy get to without permission? Boo. There's no law down here at all, I said to his face. That if he puts the patrol at risk, I'd split him myself. But he's quiet, and I'll give him that. Topsiders usually assume the end of a blight erases the darkspawn from the world. Why does this one care that his victory that just drives them back to our doorsteps? It's one thing to face them up in the light. He'll cut his own shaft out here once he fights them in the dark, where they live. That, or the Lyrium will get him. From the Legion of the Dead Field Report by Lieutenant Gant. And we scroll. I swear, Martwald, I have never seen the like. This elf. Oh. Fought like a man possessed. He strikes were light and did not echo in the stone like those of our greatest. But the precision was that of a Shaper carving a memory across the darkspawn. Damned if we didn't raise our glasses to him, at least to even share stories by honored family. With a topsider. In the lyrium glow, he looked more out of place than any of us. It makes me think of Cousin Byrne. I wonder how he fares on the surface. I think if he sends another letter, I'll read it. Ties of kin should be stronger than where we choose to do business. From a letter, cordial Torvid Orson, date unknown. An elf? Sorry, that's just in my head now. The stone take this topsider as she on top of it, would welcome her own. He was born to air and sky, and has served the deep roads better than a native son. Many will see another day because he fought, okay, it's actually he, never mind, at their side and fell in their stead. We don't know his rights, and I fear the loss of his family blade may cause unrest on whatever journey he faces. But we know him as a brother in blood, and extend that which is sacred to us. Wilhelm Terrelmont, if the path home is dark, the stone is honored to have you in the foundation. Epitaph for Wilhelm Terrelmont, 7-5 Storm. So at some point, elves actually had made their way into the deep roads. That's going to be really relevant for a later quest. Asunder. And it's not the novel. Darn. Because I believe this is the last entry. The ritual was specific, as such things probably should be. Torso, head, and limbs spread amongst the dead roads to prevent the creature from returning. Yeah, from returning! Because no idiot would collect these things and carry them around for a good long trek and, never mind, moving on. Looks like they died during the cutting, but we can fulfill the last part in their stead. I'm not familiar with elven ritual. Why would I be? but it seems pretty straightforward. Shape or axis, scribbled in the corner. Never even saw the thing, but a sword would take care of it. Sod it, this bag of legs. Might not be elven, maybe human. Doesn't matter. We can still follow directions. Torso, head, and limbs, bagged and dispersed. Simple enough. This magic stuff doesn't seem that complicated. Shape or axis, scribbled in the corner. No job for a warrior. First hole gets the bag. Oh, many people tried separating this, and we brought it together. A torn ritual page of indeterminate origin. The body rendered to its separate parts, spread wide such that no life is witnessed, no heartbeat detected. In this way, the beast can remain for an age, as knowledge passes and pursues lives out their lives. Scribbled in the corner. I was wrong, not elven. Hunters didn't kill it. I allowed this? Keep the pieces apart, I guess, away from the heart. See, we weren't the first idiots to try this. The sketching should be unreadable, but meaning swims in your head as the thoughts whisper. The limbs were meat, the torso but a vessel, the head all but unnecessary, the heart separate, keeps life. The heart keeps the blade, can be restored, the heart waits in the fade. Rough inscription, author unknown. Yeah, we kind of killed it. We did good, even though we kind of fucked it up in the first place. But we tried. And on that note, we have finished all of our reading, because that was quite a bit. So I think we're going to cut the video here. Until next, tak ligatilak hedo.